Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with the range report on the FN model 1905/1906. This beautiful vest pocket pistol was designed by the late great John Moses Browning. This gun is the grandpappy, or the creator of, or the need for the creation of the 25 ACP or 6.35 Browning cartridge. This is a striker fired pistol. It's all steel. These started to be produced in 1906. The literature varies, but ostensibly they really stopped producing these in mass in 1935 after they've produced over 1 million of these. The Americans would produce this same exact design through Colt, and it was called the Colt 1908 vest pocket pistol. This gun was designed for you to put in your vest pocket and to provide you a little bit of protection. This does hold 6 rounds of 25 ACP in the single stack magazine. It is a very, very small gun. You really are only going to get one finger grip on that grip. And if you looked at my first impression videos, you'll see that just holding this, your hand wants to find that trigger guard, and you want to be very, very careful. Trigger discipline is going to be something you really, really need to think diligently when you are carrying one of these particular firearms. Me and the Big Baby Bucket went out to the range and shot this gun, and I will tell you, it is a giggle gun. It is absolutely fun to shoot. The 25 ACP has very, very little recoil. It's just a pleasure to shoot. It's so much fun to just have fun with. And if you just want a fun little range toy, this is great. My wife's grandmother passed away, and I was at a funeral just this past week, and I actually carried this gun. I didn't keep one in the chamber. I think the the striker is a little bit precarious, to say the least, but you know, it provided me a little extra protection. I really, really enjoyed it. When we went to the range, I was shooting at 7 yards, which these are sometimes referred to as belly guns, because the idea behind it was you'd pull this out and you'd literally put it in somebody's belly and then start pulling that trigger. These sights are a joke. You're not going to get much out of that. I think the Colt 1908 sights are a little bit better, but at 7 yards, this is what I was shooting at. I did get one on the circle, but then I had some errant shots, and I was just giggling so much, having fun shooting this particular firearm, that after I shot a little bit more, my last 5 shots were on a head-sized target. And I'll be honest with you, you know, that's probably going to get the job done even at 7 yards. Now, I had to focus a little bit on the aiming, but, you know, you could probably get the job done with this particular firearm. Is this the caliber that I would recommend for you, or the size of gun that I would recommend for daily carry? Probably not. But, you know, the old adage goes, the 25 in your pocket's better than the 45 you left at home. So if this is going to be something that you'll carry, it is going to be useful for that particular case. If you ever get an opportunity to pick up one of these, especially the FN or the Colt, these are really, really, really well made. Unique made a gun. The French company, I think they actually made it through contract in Spain. I've seen a lot of different ones, like I saw Buffalo. Man, there's just a bazillion different names, because pretty much every manufacturer in Spain were making guns like this. A lot of them had hammers in the back. They weren't striker fired because those were a little bit easier to produce. Those Spanish ones, they vary so much in quality, it's difficult to say. A lot of times, though, you could pick up one of those at a gun show for $75 to $100, you know, for the opportunity to look at it and, you know, have a little fun little toy. Maybe that's worth it. These FNs are gonna run, they're fairly expensive, because again, they weren't imported into the States, so to find one in the States is pretty hard to do. The Colt 1908s, you know, I'll be honest, I think the cheapest I've ever seen One at a gun show was $500 or $600. If you go on a Guns International gun broker, depending on the condition that you're willing to accept, if you're willing to be patient, you can find them for that $400 mark. That's pretty hard to do, and those are usually pretty rough when you get down that low. This one you can see has some pitting. It's not perfect. Again, for it being 112 years old, I was okay with this light amount of pitting that you get. The bluing really isn't, other than those couple of spots, there's a couple of spots up here, is really pretty clean. FN is known for being a good manufacturer. They took a lot of pride in the quality of the guns that they made. Just the same with Colt. Some people argue that the Colt bluing is a little bit better. This is probably, I've owned a couple of Colt 1908s. The ones I could afford, the bluing wasn't as good as this one is, but again, it's kind of what you're willing to put into it. The horn grips on the original ones are pretty nice. The texturing's pretty good. I will tell you that when you're shooting it, when you have a Colt 1911, when you have a 1911, that grip safety you don't even think about. This one you really do need to practice pushing it in. They have a tendency to be a little bit stiff. They don't go in a ton. And again, when you're doing that, you just want to really focus on your trigger discipline. Also, when you're firing this gun, you're really probably less likely to use the pad of your finger. You're much more likely to use this middle pad to keep yourself safe. And that's going to be probably the way that you shoot. If you try to use the front finger pad, you could have some more difficulty engaging the trigger, the grip safety and the trigger at the same time. But again, this is an absolutely wonderful gun, fun little toy to play with at the range, and again, makes for a cool little protection piece that you can have on you when you're all dolled up and going on a nice date, maybe with your wife, and you decided to suit up for the day. So I want to thank you so much for walking me down this journey and enjoying me bringing something a little bit different that you probably are not going to see at most gun shows or in a gun store very often. The likes that you guys give me, the comments that you guys give me are really, really well appreciated. I really enjoy bringing this stuff to you and sharing some of the wonderful treasures that I find throughout the day or throughout my life. And hopefully you're enjoying that journey with me. And you stay classy, YouTube.
Little middle baby bucket, do you want to live in California?
No!
Why?
Because I'm not a communist.